Howdy-o. We are doing a future TCG duel here, taking a look at some new format stuff. I am super stoked, not only about the new Blue Eyes, but also the new Orcust as well. So this matchup was all too juicy, plus some pretty great back and forth happened here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it, and yeah, let's take a look at this duel. So the card by card, right, we got double Imperm, we got Lubellion, it is our turn, notably. We got a Sage, and then we've got our Fuelos. And then the opponents got, actually it's really great to open battle in Modern Orcust. They also have a Girsu, Magnemut, Fuelos, and a Lacrima. This one is definitely a brick. They are not happy to see that. But besides that, this is a pretty solid opener for them as well. So they're going to fire off the Fuelos during my, before I get to my main phase, which is totally fine. So this build of Blue Eyes that I'm experimenting with right now is the Bystial build. I am not convinced that in the TCG, the Primite build is 100% the correct way to play Blue Eyes. It's very strong, don't get me wrong. And I think that engine's recurability is very good. But I think many people, when they're looking at Blue Eyes and talking about that recurability, are forgetting about the fact that Branded Regained is a card, and that thing snowballs just as hard, if not harder, than the Primite engine. So that's why I've been experimenting with this in Blue Eyes, and there are some very sick plays you can do with the inclusion of the Bystial package, because this is another level 8 that you get to play with. You'll have some level 6 access. So because of that, there are some sweet extra deck cards you can play in the Bystial Blue Eyes deck. So we're going to fire off the Lubellion first, try to bait an Ash. Nothing there, so that's fine. We're now going to proceed with our Sage play. We're going to go ahead and climb into the Maiden. And obviously, you want to get Maiden first because you need to set up your True Light access, and then this thing can start searching your Effect Veilers. So we're going to go ahead and Maiden on off to place the True Light, which is just crazy. Let's break the trap mechanic by placing a card, but that is A-okay. And then we are going to go ahead and immediately fire this off. There is a line to set up your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to theoretically play around the True Light pop in case they do have a Ghost Ogre. But in this case, I am deciding to just try to really see how far I can get with just this Maiden and the True Light to really see if the opponent has an Ash here. So we're going to go ahead and Wishes on out, and there's no Ash, which means we are good to go. Go ahead and grab a Roar and our Effect Veiler, right? So now that we've got the Maiden in play, now the Sage and Wishes are for the level 1 Light Tuner. You are almost always grabbing the Effect Veiler here, just as more interruptions for your opponent. So now we're going to go ahead and do our Link play. The tricky part is we really have to be careful, and this is why we didn't immediately climb into our Link and keep going. We're trying to bait things because we're gonna continue to start giving our opponent draws here now that we're under Fuelos. So if we had done this and then later did our True Light, this draw that we just gave them could be the Ash Blossom, and that would suck. So we need to make sure that we're resolving the cards that hardest lose to Ash, which in this case is the Wishes is by far the correct place to Ash the new Blue Eyes deck. And so we needed to fire that off first before we continued our play. So now we are going to go ahead and search on out the Field Spell dump the copy of Blue Eyes, and then we will Magnemut next. Many times people go for that Blue Eyes play with the Spirit Link, but we are actually choosing to Magnemut first because I am curious if they did. I was curious if they did have a Bystial. And I was like, all right, well, they'll probably use their Bystial to stop mine. They did not. So we get to resolve Magnemut, which is just busted. And I don't know if the opponent was really thinking about this or not, because there are very few ways to bring out this Lubellion without using the Bystial that it's searching. And so, because it needs a Dark Dragon, and there are no Dark Dragons to be found in the pure Blue Eyes strategy. So I'm actually a little surprised, knowing that they did have a Bystial Magnemut, that they didn't choose to stop mine. But regardless of that fact, we're going to just get some insane value. So Magnemut's going to search for a dragon in the end phase. Lubellion's going to go ahead and place our Regain to just really start the value train. And now we're going to go ahead and Blue Eyes and activate our Maiden of White. This is where I think you'll really see the power of utilizing this Branded Regain to the maximum extent. Because, well, one, I don't think this was the correct place to Bystial me, considering that I'm on Bystials as well. But if I was not playing Bystials, yes, you would theoretically try to hit this Maiden to get it out of rotation. But the problem is, I'm going to resolve both effects of Branded Regained now, because I've already done the Lubellion play. So my graveyard is set, and I just banished a lighter dark, or you just banished a lighter dark monster for me. So we are popping the fuck off. All right, so regained to put back and draw, and then regained to special summon. They will then chain their optional effect as Chain Link 3 to search during the end phase with their Magnemite. Totally fine. We bring out our Magnemite again, and then we get a draw, which is pretty solid, except we are under Fuelos, so we can't choose to truly pop off. This thing is great. In this deck in particular, and many people cut this for the Primite Dragon, which the upcoming one from Supreme Darkness, and I get that. But what's interesting about this thing is the Neo Kaiser allows you to make a Blue Eyes ultimate on your turn without having to go through a Spirit line, a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon line. And then this thing can summon itself from the hand, so this is an extender as well. So, and it's obviously setting up your Maiden. So this was a fantastic draw. This is crazy engine to hit, but we are probably going to choose not to use it, just because we are really trying. Okay, and then we are going to use our Wishes effect. We're going to set up the Neo Blue Eyes, which is great for a little bit of targeting protection. And then we are forced to give our opponent one more draw. We need this seal to allow us to have more points of interaction with the opponent besides double Imperm and Effect Veiler, plus our True Light and Regained, and the thing that we're searching off of the Magnemite, because we need to be able to specifically interact with our opponent's board by removing things. And so Seal allows us to have that removal. So I weighed the pros and cons, and I was like, all right, they can have one more draw for allowing me to have better removal. So now in the end phase, we're going to go ahead and grab our Baldrake. Fantastic interruption. We are on the full package here, by the way. So we're playing each of the each of the Bystial cards to allow ourselves to truly get this going here. So now they are going to go ahead and grab their Druis Worm for their Magnemite search. Totally fine. They draw a World Wand, which is not normally crazy, but this is definitely going to have some interesting interaction. So we are allowing our opponent to immediately go to the battle phase because they want to try to get rid of this seal, which I guess makes sense. Use your Magnemite. They could have pushed for sure into my board, but it is what it is. So we are going to go ahead and seal, bounce to... Yeah, you think I'm going to give you back your Magnemite to the hand? Heck no. I'm not going to let you resolve this shit again. So we're going to choose to bounce our field spell, which isn't doing anything anyways because it's a face-up card. And then we will bring out our own Druis Worm to remove their Magnemite. And I think in hindsight was a little bit naive with this because if they somehow had evenly matched, we were losing the duel, even with this Effect Veiler and Bystial Baldrake in hand. So is removing their Magnemite correct there? I don't know. Who's on an evenly matched going second in game one anyways? So these are, yeah, I think that's also something to consider too. So maybe this wasn't totally incorrect to go for the Druis Worm. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and Druis Send. So they are one body down, and then they have a Babble set up. And I'm like, oh, let me get this stupid Babble off the field because this is going to really allow them to pop off. All right, Girsu, normal summon. Now, what is great is they summon, I summon. So we are going to choose to try to summon our Magnemite, which, obviously is going to get met with the Baldrake, or the Druis Worm, because they do not want us to get that Magnemite loop going in rotation. But you can already see how this Branded Regain is starting to put in work, right? It's summoning. It's going to give me a draw here. Now, it has definitely been said, and I completely agree, that using Imperms and Effect Veilers against the new Orcust engine does not do much. I completely agree with that. Yet, we still need to stop them from setting up their Orcust engine here and sending a Harp, because that's just going to apply a lot of pressure. And so we're going to choose to burn our middle column Imperm, and maybe they'll just play into it. Probably not, though. But what's also annoying, too, is they do have two bodies to either go into a Chaos Angel, a Galatea, or, of course, their Galatea Eye with the one Orcust body they have. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and regain, put back, and draw. That is great for next turn if we are able to survive. And then we are immediately going to, before they are able to set up this Link summon here, bring out our Baldrake to attempt to threaten this. So if we can get this thing out of rotation where we can have it banished, normally that would be great. And I think I did this a little bit too reactively. I didn't recognize that they had just pitched Wand off of the Galatea Eye, because if they had done that, I'm like, oh, great. What else are they going to search besides this? So I do not think that this Effect Veiler was correct on the Galatea Eye, because what are they going to do? They're going to search the crown and get one extra body? Great. That's not going into attack mode anyways. That's not applying pressure. And so, they're going to be able to just recur this Galatea Eye that I'm banishing off of the Baldrake. So unfortunately, a little bit of a misplay. And of course, they won back the Galatea Eye. There it is. And now they have made their own Galatea, and they attempt to send my Baldrake, is what it is. They are going to Galatea, not Eye, just the OG Galatea effect. And once again, we are forced to try to stop this. So we've already gone through, you can kind of see why this is a problem against the Orcust strategy, is there are so many points where you can hit them with Imperm, and you just need this many, or you're ideally like this is why like a single Imperm doesn't do much against the strategy. So we do have to stop the Galatea, but now we are all 3 monster effect negations down. So they are forced to then make a Dingirsu, and at this point I say, all right, fine, I'm going to make you choose. I don't have any monsters, so the drawback of True Light is not going to come up as much, so I'm going to choose to set another spell or trap that you are then forced to decide if you want to send that or my True Light with your Dingirsu. They choose to send the Wishes, probably makes sense, and then they think they're all savvy by SP banishing our True Light. I don't think it's going to really do much personally, but they are going to go ahead and set a card, and then in the draw phase, they're like really eager to get their Galatea Eye effect, and they're banishing in this matchup in particular. Oh my god, Regained is crazy against Malice. Crazy. They're banished. They want their stuff banished. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take a draw, and then let's put that back in your deck. So in this case, we are recycling a Galatea for them, but it doesn't even matter. So they bring out a Body and Banish, which means we get to bring out a Body and draw, which is crazy. So they will then choose the Galatea effect, I guess, to set up their Nightmare. Sure, whatever. Nightmare effects, they really want this setup here. The thing is, they're playing into Talents regardless, so I don't know what they think they're doing. Okay, and then now we are showing off the power of us being able to make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel. Really sweet. And then we are immediately attempting to threaten this Babel. We need to get this banished as quickly as possible. Grave is okay, but they can recur it in the graveyard. We need this shit banished. So then we use our Druis Worm to attempt to send this Little Knight, because they can't they can't use their Little Knight to banish the Chaos Angel. We use Light and Darks, so activated effects are a no-go. They are then choosing to bring back their Dingirsu, which is way too premature in my opinion. And then they do reveal that they're already on the Imperm. Hey, good thing we already got our value off this thing, right? So this is totally fine. This negation does not hurt. This Chaos Angel negation does hurt a little bit, but we still have the big body, which is great. So we will send a Blue Eyes with the Neo effect. We did Chain Block as well, to just in case the opponent, this was like a Solemn Strike or some bullshit like that. So they are then going to use Dingirsu. And once again, incorrect decision going for that Chaos Angel. They probably should have removed the Regain, because we don't have many ways to recur that shit. But anyways, they have now fully played into Talents. So we're just going to go ahead and draw. Because I'm like, prior to drawing these 2 suckers, what am I really going to do? Am I going to take one of these monsters? Dingirsu's already used its effect. So, I don't think it's going to be doing that much. Galatea Eye's already used its effect. That's just a Link Body. I don't have any cute Orcust plays in my extra deck. So because of that, I'm also thinking too, what do they have in their hand? More Orcus, something like that. I would rather see more of my engine, especially because I haven't even committed a normal summon yet. So we're going to go ahead and draw, and then use our Mausoleum normal summon for the Sage. So we can still, if we want to summon something else out, we have that option. Then we'll use our Sage effect, right? We've already got the Maiden in rotation here. So the other one was banished, I believe. I'll have their Magnamut. Oh, we put it back. That's right. So yeah, we need another Maiden, but we had it in hand, so we can then start summoning start searching our Effect Veiler here, and then we will choose to roar back our Blue Eyes, so we can starting to threaten our Synchro play. So we are then going to immediately go into the Lightstorm Dragon. Yes, this common is very good. Get rid of the Babel. So even if they want to, let's say, have this card on the field, they are now forced to use a card from their hand to get this back into theirs. So I am okay with that, even though I would have liked to have seen this banished. Now we will go ahead and banish their Druis Worm to make a Soronir, just to clean up, apply some serious pressure. And then we are going to go ahead and get the Lubellion in play here. Send our Magnamut, so we have some form of serious, like that's the best body you can bring back besides maybe the Baldrake as well, but the Magnamut just searches Engine, which is so strong. So now they're going to go ahead and probably draw the best card in their deck, Foolish Burial. Crazy. They send their Harp Horror, which, is actually a little bit scary, because now they've got like really good Orcust Engine access. And I don't have a Bystial to get that out of the grave before they, use its effect. And so they are now choosing to normal summon Lacrima, which is fine because we can then bring back our Baldrake and start to threaten their extra deck plays. So at this point, I did choose to go for that over the Magnemite because I actually need the interruption here. And this is a little bit win more to go for some engine. So we get that interruption going. They are, cutely enough, able to summon out the World Crown to a monster their link, or a zone and link monster points to. That is kind of funny. They are then going to use the Engraver effect to... I'm guessing they're trying to find some way to use the removal. But they're going to Requiem now and bring out their Lacrima that they put back, I guess. And then they're making a sequence, which is just so silly. Because this thing is not a quick effect. So we're obviously going to get rid of that. And then Regain, put it back to draw. Oh! Ooh, the nastiest draws we could have hit. This Nibiru is gonna go so crazy. This thing, I get why they're keeping it face up on the field because they're using it to attempt to negate monsters from the extra deck. It's not from the extra deck. All right, so they are gonna harp on out their Gear Suit, which will immediately be met with an Effect Veiler. Totally fine. And then they climb into their Galatea with no access to Babel. I don't know why they didn't prioritize trying to get this back on the field because they would have had some protection if they'd done that. But now that they've done that, they are just going to get absolutely waxed here because there is no way that in their graveyard to have their skeleton to recur this Galatea, and keeping that body on the field lets them, because I don't have a way to negate it anymore, so I have to Nibiru it because that would have allowed them to reset from their deck, probably set up their counter trap, and then also turn that into another Dingirsu, which I'm sure they're on too if they're on pure. If they're on this, they are on this Fiendsmith variant, so it's not pure. There's a chance they're not running two. Let's take a look. Ah, they are running a second. I love how we can just look in their whole extra deck. Oh, they're on a little Azamina as well here. But yes, so that would have been very, very nasty if that had stuck around. So I'm very glad that we chose to deal with it early with the Nibiru. Give them the token. They then Galatea Eye back a body. That does absolutely nothing. Oh man, did it just crap out? That is a bummer. But as you can see, there is no follow-up play here. So the crackback, was going to be so swift. They also scoop too, so it's not like we get the satisfaction of watching them lose all their life points and die. So anyways, we're gonna call it here because this duel is over. Again, nothing in their graveyard that they can use to truly make it. And the extra deck, let's take a look here. No valid targets to really climb into. They're not making the RIP or anything like that. So all things said, with that considered, this is your future format video. Bystial Blue Eyes. Consider it. I think too many people are just flocking towards Primite Blue Eyes, and I get it. And let's consider other options.